Look down at the phone in your hand. Now, think about the electric car you might be driving in a few years. What if I told you they were at the center of a new global power struggle? Right now, a different kind of war is heating up. It's not for territory, but for the raw materials that power our modern world. Deep beneath the soil of the African continent lie the critical minerals that will define our future, and two superpowers, the United States and China, are in a head-to-head fight for control. China got a head start of a few decades, weaving itself into the very fabric of the continent's economy. Now, the US is launching a massive counteroffensive, playing a high-stakes game of catch-up. So who's actually winning, and what does it all mean for the rest of us? First, you have to understand what they're fighting over. Africa isn't just rich in minerals. It holds a staggering portion of the world's most vital resources. We're talking about an estimated 30% of the world's proven critical mineral reserves when it comes to cobalt, a mineral that's absolutely essential for the batteries in our phones and electric cars. The continent's dominance is undeniable. The Democratic Republic of Congo, or DRC, alone produces around 70 to 74% of the entire global supply each year and holds roughly half of the world's proven reserves. And it doesn't stop there. South Africa is home to the lion's share of the world's platinum group metals, holding over 80% of the world's known reserves. These are crucial for everything from catalytic converters that reduce emissions to the hydrogen fuel cells that could power our future. Spread across the rest of the continent are strategically important reserves of lithium, copper, manganese, and graphite, all of them forming the backbone of the green energy transition and modern defense tech. For decades, this immense wealth was largely just pulled from the ground and shipped away, with little benefit to the countries themselves. But now, with demand set to skyrocket, the game is changing. The world needs Africa's minerals, and two global powers have two very different ideas about how to get them. China's dominant position in Africa didn't just happen. It's the result of a patient, strategic, and incredibly effective long-term plan. For more than 2 decades, while much of the West was focused elsewhere, Beijing was methodically building relationships and locking down resources. Their playbook was brilliantly simple: infrastructure for minerals. Chinese state-owned companies, backed by massive state loans, offered African nations something they desperately needed: new roads, railways, ports, and hospitals. In return, China secured unparalleled access to the continent's mineral wealth. The poster child for this strategy is the Sycamines deal in the DRC. First signed back in 2007, a group of Chinese firms committed billions to build infrastructure. In exchange, they got the mining rights to massive copper and cobalt deposits. This model was replicated across the continent under the banner of the Belt and Road Initiative, a sprawling global investment program that's poured hundreds of billions of dollars into projects worldwide. The results speak for themselves. Today, Chinese companies have controlling stakes in many of the DRC's most productive cobalt and copper mines. But their control goes deeper. China has also built a dominant position over the entire supply chain. After the raw materials are pulled from the African earth, they're often shipped to China for processing. It's estimated that around 70% of the world's cobalt is refined in China. This gives Beijing a powerful choke point on the global supply of these finished materials, leverage it can use through things like export controls. This strategy allowed Chinese firms to move faster and with more financial muscle than their Western competitors, creating a self-contained ecosystem that was hard to compete with. For years, it seemed like the United States was asleep at the switch. American companies even sold off major assets, like the world's largest cobalt mine, to Chinese competitors. But Washington is waking up, realizing its deep dependency on China for the minerals that power everything from F-35 fighter jets to the green economy. The US is now racing to build an alternative, but America isn't just trying to copy China's playbook. It's offering a different kind of deal. The centerpiece of this new strategy is the Lobito Corridor. This isn't just another railway. It's a strategic artery designed to connect the mineral-rich heart of the DRC and Zambia to the Atlantic coast of Angola, completely bypassing Chinese-controlled trade routes. The US and its partners, including the European Union and African institutions, are committing billions of dollars to rehabilitate and expand this corridor. With major construction and financing milestones set for the coming years, Instead of just state-to-state deals, the U.S. is leading a coalition. Through the Minerals Security Partnership, the U.S. has brought together more than a dozen allies, including Japan, the U.K., and the EU, to jointly fund and support projects that promise to follow higher environmental, social, and governance standards. The American pitch to African nations is clear. We offer a more transparent and sustainable partnership. The focus isn't just on extraction, but on helping African countries build their own processing and manufacturing facilities, so they can keep more of the profits from their own resources. This message is finding a receptive audience, and Washington is backing it up with stronger economic and security cooperation. America is late to the game, but it's bringing powerful allies and a compelling new offer to the table. So, with these two titans locked in this struggle, who's actually winning? Well, if you look at the scoreboard today, China has a commanding lead. They have stakes in the majority of existing critical mineral mines, like cobalt, and they have a stranglehold on the global processing industry. That two-decade head start in building infrastructure and political ties is a huge advantage, but the ground is shifting. The very dominance that China built is creating a backlash. A powerful new force is entering the game: African agency. African nations are no longer content to be passive suppliers of raw materials. They are demanding a better deal. Across the continent, leaders are calling for investment in local refineries and factories, so that the batteries of the future can be built in Africa by African workers. We're seeing this in the DRC, where the government has moved to review and renegotiate its minerals for infrastructure deals with Chinese firms, demanding a fairer share of the profits. We're seeing it in Zambia, which is focused on expanding its own copper smelting capacity. And we're seeing it on a continental level, with the African Union formally adopting the Africa Green Minerals Strategy, a framework designed to ensure that the continent's mineral wealth drives its own industrialization. This is where the American and European strategy might have a long-term edge. By offering partnerships focused on adding value locally and increasing transparency, the West is aligning itself with Africa's own goals. This growing fatigue with China's sometimes one-sided deals is opening a strategic door for the U.S. and its allies. The competition is no longer just about which superpower can extract the most. It's about which one can offer a better vision for the future. This battle is far from over. It's a long-term struggle that will help define the geopolitical landscape of the 21st century. China is defending its dominant position, leveraging its deep economic ties, and even offering zero-tariff trade access for many of the continent's least developed nations to solidify its partnerships. The US-led coalition is attempting to build an entirely new, parallel supply chain from the ground up, one that aims to be more resilient, transparent, and less dependent on Beijing. The outcome will have profound consequences for all of us. It will affect the speed and cost of the transition to electric vehicles and renewable energy. It will shape the future of global technology and defense. And most importantly, it will determine whether Africa's immense resource wealth finally translates into sustainable prosperity for its people. The central question is no longer just America versus China. It's about whether African nations can successfully play these two giants against each other to build a future on their own terms. The winner of this great game won't just be the superpower that controls the most minds, but the one whose vision for partnership ultimately prevails. What do you think? Who has the winning strategy in this global contest? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.